Hey, Mary, back with another video. Okay, so it's 2:40, and I think today's Wednesday. You know, the weird part is, yesterday I thought, for some weird reason, I thought it was Thursday, okay? And when you're staying in the house for, like, days at a time, you start losing track of time. And I think the reason why I thought that, I kept thinking, silly, I felt I was getting close to the weekend, and really what I was picking up on was the fact that yesterday was Halloween, okay? Which I will say that Halloween was rather drab yesterday. But, it was okay. It was a nice cool breeze last night, and I stepped outside for like a few minutes on the back porch, and I kind of enjoyed the evenings inside the house. I worked on some arts and crafts, and then went to bed. I think I went to bed around 12, a little after 12. So I don't like what this has done to my schedule, but I've been working on a lot of mental exercises that's dealing with, the anxiety that I was dealing with, which I do. I will say that I do feel better. I'm getting my head back on straight. Okay, I will tell you that when you deal with this sort of thing, it's like being traumatized multiple times over and over and over again, and every interaction that you had to deal with becomes traumatizing, and it's like I will tell you, it's a lot. So I deal with a lot of mental exercises. I listen to a lot of instrumental music to kind of calm me down, get myself centered, get myself focused, and I have to just keep plugging away on my job search, which I will say that I'm devoting a little bit more time to it. I set aside a certain time of the day every day, and I just kind of do things the old-fashioned way, which I would have done that in the first place had it not been for certain people that shall remain nameless, because I really don't want to go into another anxiety attack. What a freak, right? I'm referring to a particular person that used to be of my blood relations. But anyway, moving on from that. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to move on from the trauma, the realization of who created the trauma, and just kind of move on and plug away. I will say that I do feel better going out in town now. I feel, I don't feel that tension in my chest. I couldn't figure out where it is. There's a sixth sense that everybody has, and a lot of people don't really realize what it's there for, but it's there to kind of alert you to danger. You may not know what it is, but it's there, okay? And I will say that tension is gone. I don't have it in me anymore, and that's a relief, okay? I will say that was some pretty creepy energy that I experienced, okay? And I didn't like it at all. But I do feel better, and so I just keep plugging away, which, a lot of people may think that method's kind of crazy, but you know what? It's what I'm comfortable with doing. I'm not saying I'm completely comfortable with it. If I wasn't gang stalked in the past, I would feel a lot easier doing it. But it is what it is. I've never asked anyone for help. As far as being part of a network or anything like that. So it just has to be that way. But I try to, take enough time to contact people, and then I have to follow up, and, the drill. It is what it is, but, I will say that, I don't want to overexert myself, and of course, there's certain industries that I would prefer to work in, so I try to hit those first. I mean, I'm not really picky, to be honest with you, not when it comes to this location, because, I know that where I live here, it's mostly like oil and gas, I believe, and whatever. Those are the big major ones, and I personally don't like oil or gas, so I kind of stay away from that altogether. So anything else is fine, but if I have a choice, then I'm going to sit here and look at ones that I would prefer. If I was in the Los Angeles area, which I couldn't afford to live there anyway, I would probably say that I would want to work in the fashion industry, something that relates to fashion. That would be my first choice, okay? But, things are what they are, so anyway. But I'm happy regardless. I'm a happy person, and I enjoy work, period, so it doesn't really matter to me. But I think when you like your industry, when you're more enthusiastic about industry, you're more likely to participate, for example, after work activities or whatever. Like if there was a fashion show, then of course you're going to be there, and you're going to be more involved in it. Is what it is. You know, you're more involved in the company if you know you have this special attachment for like the particular industry that you're working in. But you know, I don't have an issue with other industries, and there's some that are more appealing than others, I would say. But anyway, since I'm not actually doing the work, like, you know, for example, digging ditches or anything like that, you know, it doesn't really matter at that point. Anyway, so today is just a day where I was just doing a lot of reflecting, and early this morning I got up and I was listening to some music, and which is kind of like thinking about, not so much my past, but like, kind of, but not necessarily specifically on these particular people. I was just thinking about the formulation process of who we are when we come into this planet. Like, it was so deep, you know what I mean? It was like, okay, you wonder, is there some sort of cosmic lesson to all of this, you know? And, I mean, I was kind of thinking about that for a few hours, you know? And, of course, I have a designated time when I make all my phone calls. So I had to pull myself out of it. I kept thinking, okay, you can't sit here and trip on this all day, you know. But I will say that it almost seems like what happened with me. It almost seems, and I know it sounds crazy, and I can't really verify it for sure, but you know, it almost seems like a past life type scenario, like being replayed over again in some weird way. You know what I mean? I guess I'd have to get to know a person, you know, be more closer to them to really explain what I'm talking about. And it would have to be somebody who would be really mature enough to grasp what I'm talking about. But this whole issue, when I really think about it, is very deep on a spiritual level, in my opinion, you know. And yeah, so that had my brain rolling around for quite a while. So anyway. So what I'm going to do for the rest of the day is I'm going to follow up on my resumes, and then after that, you know, I'm just going to kind of fiddle around the kitchen. I need to, this weekend, I'm going to clean the floors. I know that is something I have to do. I've been waltzing around it for a while. I think the last time I did them was a little after I left my job, which is like, I mean, I sweep in here like almost, I would say, every other day. But I mean, as far as cleaning the floors, I think the last time I did that was in August, okay? And I'm really embarrassed about saying that, but my floors aren't really dirty. They're more dusty. They get a lot of dust that comes in from the outside in the vents and whatnot, so that I have to, you know, be careful about. So I have to tidy up in here, but I would say that my mood is better. You know, I try to not dwell on it, not dwell on the past and what's happened to me and the people who got involved in it. I just kind of keep my attention away from that. And when I find myself going in that direction, I have to redirect myself, you know what I mean? Because it's not something I really need to think about, you know? As far as forgiveness is concerned, like I said, the only way I'm forgiving is to forget it. There are some people that, you know, if past lives are true, then I would prefer not to take that journey down the road in the future. You know what I mean? Because I don't want them in my next life. Okay, let's put it that way. Sever those ties and sever them for good. You know, however that whole thing goes. But I will say that, you know, I've learned a lot from this. You know what I mean? Never take anyone for granted. I mean, seriously, you think people who are, you know, smiling in your face, particularly like family members or whatever, you never know if they have some sort of vendetta against you. You know, apparently they've had one against me since the day I was born. So, yeah, and it makes sense now. So, you know, I'm just kind of trying to pick up, you know. And I keep thinking, okay, it's time to go out and live your life, Maria. Stop, you know, being so stagnant. What I really wish I had is if I had more gas money, I would probably just go in and talk to employers directly. Unfortunately, I don't have gas money to spend, you know, continually. So I have to have more of a methodical approach and all that, So, yeah, they put me in a big bind, But I didn't feel better knowing that everything that happened to me wasn't my fault. And I knew it wasn't my fault from the beginning, but I didn't quite know what the source was. But now that I do, man, I will tell you. This is not a conversation that I really want to engage in with other people. I mean, of course, I get to know them very well, but if somebody asks me, like, in a job interview or something, if they ask me, keep pressing for it, then I will probably tell them. But it's not something that I really want to talk about. Not really. But if I found the right person, I probably would talk to them about it. But most people, they can't handle that sort of conversation. They just, I don't know. It's hard, to find the right people to talk to about it. But I am very grateful for the people that I've met online who, I've talked to, and especially my friends over in the other countries. It's good to have someone who can relate to what you're going through, and because most people can't. They can't understand that. They can on some level, but not to this, where you got some weird psychotic freak that's been trailing around you your entire life, But I am hoping that people will wake up to the whole idea of stalking, okay? Because that's what it boils down to. It doesn't matter if it's your mom, your sister, whatever. Stalking is stalking is stalking is stalking. And some people look at it like, well, that means your ex-husband. Well, they can do it too, but siblings do it. A lot of people do it, There's a lady who makes YouTube videos, and I've watched a few of her videos, and, I could tell she's got a domestic stalker too, and there's a lot of them out there. And the sad part is employers don't recognize it for what it is. They might have a great relationship with a stalker. They might think, oh, we laugh, we talk, they're good people. But what they're enacting on the person in the workplace is causing them trauma, so therefore they're stalkers, okay? And so that's what my biggest issue was, is to let these people know that these people are doing what they're doing is wrong, I would have never given any consent to something like that. And that's really what it boils down to. I didn't give any consent. And I really think, some of the employers that hired me just for the sake of, these stalkers arranging my job, it's almost like, I don't know. It seems it's not productive. You know what I mean? I have a lot to contribute, and I don't like my time wasted. Or my energy or my skills wasted. I take my skills and my means of surviving very seriously. That's all I have, man. That's all I have. Yeah, that's all I got. And aside from that, I take pride in my work. And when you think of the whole little game here that was played out, it's just it kind of throws my mind a little bit. But anyway, so not much today. I got my little arts and crafts out there. I did complete a project. I'll show it to you. I made a dinosaur. Kind of funny, huh? Yeah, this was a little bit tricky. This part right here, the little bottom of him, his little stomach, was kind of tricky, I will say. But other than that, he was fairly easy to make. So I was on a dinosaur kick for a while. I make a lot of little things for girls, but I never make too many things for boys. Mind you, I like kids anyway. I do. I like their little world. I like their songs. I like their nursery rhymes. I like their, what do you call it? I like primary colors. I enjoy childhood. Childhood is a very fun time. And when I think about it, I can relate really well to children, So I when I see them, encounter them, I'm always happy, I'm always willing to talk to them, even though their little conversations sometimes can be kind of silly, but it's a breath of fresh air, especially, I see some of the little kids around, and they're so cute, like the little clothes that they wear. The little clothes they wear, the little shoes, man, it's so cute, man. It's adorable. It's really cute. So, yeah, I like kids. I do. I mean, some people think you don't seem to like kids because you don't want them. No, I don't want kids. I'm too old to have them. But I will say when I'm around them, you know, I enjoy them and I like to talk with them and make them laugh or them, you know, drawing pictures for me. I think that's adorable, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I can get into a little kid's world. You know, it's fun. And I enjoy that. So, anyway. Yeah. So I'm going to wrap up this video, and then I'm going to upload it, and then I'm going to follow up sending out resumes and, you know, do the same old thing over and over and over again, you know, till I get it. So hopefully, I want to get back to work as soon as possible because I'm tired of staying at home, number one. Number two, I've got bills to pay. Number three, what else? Yeah, I just want to get back to what's normal, you know. I miss having regular conversations at work. I miss, you know, I miss that. You know, even if it's about something mundane like, you know, I don't know, a paper stuck in the copier. You know, I miss working a lot. And I don't feel myself when I'm not at work, you know. So I've had some time off, you know, but I've had way too much time off, you know, and this would never be my decision to take this much time off, you know. It really wouldn't be. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope you had a great Halloween, you know. Did you have enough candy to eat? I'm sure you did. I didn't have any candy corns this year, which is a bummer. You know, I just bought some suckers, and that was about the extent of it. But I do like my candy corns, and I'm thinking, okay, I know Christmas is coming up. And I think what I like for Christmas is I like those ribbon candies. Those are real pretty. And I also like, you know, of course, candy canes and barber poles. Those are kind of fun, you know. But, yeah, Christmas and holiday candies are fun. Anyway, wrapping up this video, have a wonderful day.